Welcome to Read Ancient Languages. I'm Dr. Fausto Labruto. Today we travel to the National Library of France to take a look at one of the most fascinating ancient manuscripts ever discovered. This is a book called Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. The word codex means that this book is written not on paper but parchment. That means thin layers of calf skin. The discipline which studies codexes is called palaeography. The first thing you will notice looking at a page of this codex is that it appears as if mysteriously two texts were written on it. The reason for this is that this codex is what paleographers refer to as a palimpsest. So what is a palimpsest? Because they are written on parchment, codexes have the characteristic that their text can be erased by washing, and the parchment pages can be recycled to write a new text on them. Sometimes the job of washing the old text was not done too well, and the old text was partially still visible under the new text. This is the case of the Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. The newer text was written in the 12th century, and it is a collection of writings of the theologian Ephraim. However, scholars were able to patiently reconstruct the underlying older text, and their discovery made history. The older text partially visible was in fact one of the four oldest, most complete, and most valuable copies of the New Testament, written in ancient Greek in the 4th century. The German Constantin von Tischendorf, a giant of paleography, dedicated many years to skillfully decipher the hidden text in 1843. Today, we will see how it is possible to read the ancient precious text under the more recent writings. In order to do so, the first thing we will have to do is to turn the page upside down. In fact, once the parchment pages were washed, they were put upside down to write the 12th century text. Then we will zoom in onto an area where the older text is more legible. Notice how the words in the text are not separated one from the other. It is like a constant stream of letters. This is the so-called scriptura continua. Also, to make the work of the translator harder, there are no diacritic marks such as accents or breathings, and very little punctuation, as in the fashion of the 4th century. Here we find the following sentence in ancient Greek. Ekrasen ento synedrio, ego pharisaios eimi, iuios pharisaion, which translated into English means, he called out in the Sanhedrin, men, brothers, I am a Pharisee, son of Pharisees. This is of course St. Paul the Apostle speaking in a passage of the book of Acts, chapter 23. So the Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus is a most remarkable manuscript, a palimpsest, a book which lived two lives. It was only when modern scholars patiently reconstructed the barely visible ancient text under the second 12th century text that they were able to admire it as one of the oldest, most complete, and most valuable copies of the Greek New Testament. Today, this extraordinary palimpsest can be admired at the National Library of France in Paris. Thank you for listening to Read Ancient Languages. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for updates.